Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 28 of the Matt Show. And today we are joined by the one and only Fred Ramey, co-founder of TFY Pack, as well as Sola Oboyan, who is also a co-founder of TFY Pack. Thank you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Really quickly, it's Obayan. It's pronounced
Obayan.
like O'Brien.
Yeah, I figured I messed that up, but I figured you'd correct me, which you did. But anyways, you guys just launched today a very interesting project. You announced that there's 4 TFY candidates that all support universal basic income that you are going to be making ads for, and your first one just came out today featuring Donna Imam, and you're going to be doing one for David Kim and then for Marilyn Strickland, as well as for Jermaine Johnson. And this is pretty cool to see, in my opinion, because you guys were doing truckers for Yang stuff, and now you're still obviously doing stuff that's moving the envelope forward, but it's a little different from wrapping trucks. So how did that transition come about, and how did you guys get the idea to try to launch like an ad campaign at the grassroots level for all these candidates?
Yeah, so this is actually, digital marketing is what I do. I'm a digital marketing consultant, and a lot of what I do is paid social and 360 digital marketing. So Fred initially wanted to support Andrew's DPP project, the data protection project, that allows people to opt in to the program, and based on groundswell and scale, they will be able to be the go-between and negotiate how people can get paid for their data between corporations and the people themselves. So Fred and I had an idea to run a video for that, do a video ad for that, and raise visibility for that particular project. And my thinking was the best way to move the needle would be to support down ballot candidates that are running on UBI. That way we can continue to build on the momentum of UBI, and based on current events and what's going on right now, it's imperative that we do have UBI passed. So we decided to move forward in that specific direction. We selected 4 candidates after a very rigorous process of assessing who is as close to the finish line as possible and would need a small push to cross it. And that's really the entire purpose of the UBI 2020 campaign, is to get UBI candidates past the finish line this election cycle.
Absolutely. How you doing, Fred? I see you're a little busy there.
I'm doing well now. This is going to be a rough one today because we're actually we're experiencing some real-time trucking. Actually, we're here in Anheuser-Busch, here in Newark, New Jersey. They loaded me up. I'm like 700 pounds overweight. Now I got to go back, have them take off some beer, and get A-OK for the weight. So they told me to,
I thought you were on a diet, Fred. I didn't realize you were over 700 pounds.
Yeah, I know. 700 pounds over. Sucks. I need to go on a serious diet. But back to we were talking about the initiative. I was listening to most of what you were saying because I have multiple things going on. I just wanted to say that the video, if you haven't seen it, is phenomenal.
You want me to put it up right now?
Yeah. We got lots of traction today.
Yeah.
And
because these ads are really cool, and you have 4 more of them coming out. Who made the ads? I actually already know, but maybe the audience wants to know.
Yeah, James Grimes, aka Treacle, is the one who created the video. He's also put together pieces on behalf of some of the Yang trends that we've done in the past, like hashtag Congress Pass UBI. He's doing a lot of work with other candidates. He's working on some things with Erica Rhodes, who's running in 2022. So that's another one to get geared up for 2 years from now. So yeah, Treacle.
Yeah, he's really talented. Check this out, everybody.
Donna Imam isn't a politician. She's a Texan engineer, an entrepreneur, a nonprofit innovator.
The volume's a little low, Matt.
wages and the standard of living. She's done the math on all of it. That's why Donna Imam has been endorsed by so many people, we had to cram them into this ad. Donna Imam knows how to supercharge the American dream and make it work for everyone. Donna Imam does the work, and she won't stop when she makes it to Congress. Paid for by TFY PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Click. Cool stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, why? Here's a question for you. Why? Why UBI? Like, of all the issues that are out there, because I know there are some people that they're really passionate about Medicare for all, for example. There's other people that are really passionate about Green New Deal. There's other people who are fully off like that, like even trying to go for concrete policies, and they're on the whole like we need to reform everything first because otherwise we have no chance to get all this. Why at the core of like Truckers for Yang, out of everything, UBI specifically?
Well, we know because we no longer have the runway to get everything in order before moving strongly on UBI. We no longer have the runway to allow Washington to continue their inside politics. We no longer have the runway as we see millions that are out of work. We see businesses that are being shut down. We see people that are struggling during a pandemic. This is a strategic move due to urgency and due to us also realizing that things could get even much worse than they already are in the very near future. And we're talking hundreds of thousands of people losing their homes. Evictions are already happening. We're talking about miles and miles of people in line for food banks. They're already in line by blocks. So we are going to see a growth of the most negative impacts of the pandemic, and also on top of automation. The automation race is accelerating and it's still happening. So getting UBI and cash into the hands of the people is the fastest way to circumvent the suffering, at least turn down the rate in which we are racing towards devastation of our economy beyond repair.
Yeah. It really is striking how during the pandemic, it seems like the level of wealth inequality has surprisingly actually grown, and people at the top doing better, people at the bottom doing worse. And if you want to talk about just like trying to get direct cash payments over the finish line, to me, like I can't even fathom how that hasn't been done yet. So I totally feel you on the need for UBI, and that's why we need to get these UBI candidates into office and replace the people who are in there not doing anything for the people, not even doing the bare minimum, which to me is cash payments. What is kind of like your strategy in terms of these ads? Like I know you released them on Twitter today, but are you going to actually be putting them up like in the actual districts on like Facebook and stuff like that?
Yes, we are. We are going to be running. In fact, the ads are in the process. They're loaded into the platforms already, into the Google Display Network and into Facebook's advertising platform. So yes, we're going to be running highly targeted digital marketing campaigns specifically in the districts. So we're starting with Donna's district, it's District 31 in Texas. It includes about 10 different cities, and we are targeting specific zip codes within those cities so that we can reach exactly her voting constituency. And the same thing with Google Display. What's really great about Google's network too, and their advertising platform, is that we can drill down even to interest. So let's say if they're a college student who's now at home, and they're at home during remote study, and college is one of their interests, or they have various indicators that they are a college student, we can target them specifically. So that's as drill down, and specifically within those zip codes as well. So there's a geographic targeting, there's an interest targeting, demographic targeting. So we'll be pulling levers back and behind the scene, and we'll be turning dials and making sure that the right people are seeing these ads. And as we start to see traction and engagement in one particular demo or for one particular interest or profile, we'll be adding more ad dollars to that. So as the longer the ad runs and the longer the campaign runs, the more effective the conversion and the engagement and potential reach to the audiences that we're targeting will be.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear because like Andrew Yang, of course, who we all know and love, he talks about it all the time, how valuable data is worth. And so the fact that you're able to use that data and pinpoint and be more efficient with the targeting is really great. And one thing that I noticed just watching the ad, and Fred, I was talking about this with Fred the other day, is how it's very positive and it's focused on Donna. It's not like a lot of PACs or just ads that aren't like just political ads in general. They're negative. They're hitting the other candidate. But you, it seemed, really made a point to highlight Donna. What is kind of like the philosophy behind that decision? And is that something that you is that something you would plan to do through the rest of the ads?
Yes, absolutely. The philosophy behind it is that we have enough pain and negativity in this world, and we want to showcase these candidates who have the potential of doing so many amazing things for our world and for our country, that putting them on the platform, making them the focus of the video rather than any sort of detracting content or any sort of conflicting energy. We want them to be showcases of these candidates standing on their own 2 feet and on the strong platforms that they have. And absolutely, this is a strategy that we'll be using for every single one of the candidates. The videos will always be positive. It will always showcase their strengths and highlight their platforms.
That's awesome. Here's a question. How do people get involved and help out? Because I know that it's definitely, there's a cost to make these ads. There's a cost to get them up in the districts, obviously. Where would people be able to go and help out?
Yeah, so we launched the UBI 2020 hashtag today, and that's the hashtag we'll be using to roll out information and calls to action. What's on the immediate priority list is to raise additional funds for the ads. So we've committed $10,000 to Donna's ad. It's the first to launch.
Wow.
The next is David Kim's. So we're actively raising money for that now. The ActBlue link is up, so anyone can go to the website. And there's a bit of additional information too regarding the UBI 2020 initiative. The website is tfypac.org, and that has more information there. We could also use some more support on the back end. So anyone who's interested in supporting perhaps the social media engagement, we're going to be running Get Out the Vote ads too within the district, letting people know deadline for registration. If you can mail in your ballot, these are the deadlines. If you have to go to the polls, this is what time they close. That sort of a thing, and providing information within these specific districts that their constituents will need in order to get to the polls or mail in their ballot effectively. So we'll need some support on that end as well, just to help out with consistent communication. And also anyone who is able and ready and willing to pick up the phone and call potential donors, because it's just Fred and I rocking this. So we could use some assistance with calling donors as well. So the priority is raising funds, and we do need some help on the back end.
Yeah, you hear that? Anybody out there, if you have technical behind-the-scenes skills and you'd like to get involved in politics in a PAC, this is your opportunity once in a lifetime. Fred,
a grassroots PAC.
Grassroots PAC. Yeah, that is the thing. At the end of the day, like what makes PAC, because Andrew Yang, he obviously ran on getting rid of PACs, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Major electoral reform. But I think what separates like a PAC like this one from, the Republican and Democratic National Committee super PACs or whatever is that the ones that fund this, it's just people like us. Mm-hmm. And basically all it enables is us to do stuff that we wouldn't be able to do like without forming a PAC, just because of like finance laws and campaign finance laws and stuff like that. Like, because some of these PACs, like I think some of them, they can take in like unlimited donations, and it's like dark money. They don't even have to reveal the names, so it's just crazy. And so you got it's kind of like a Bernie has his PAC, like it's the Our Revolution PAC kind of.
Yeah, a lot of candidates have quote unquote corporate PACs and taken very, very large donations from corporate interest groups. Our candidates, well, the candidates that we're supporting are not. They're not taking corporate money. They've pledged not to. And that's one of the reasons too that we're so motivated to back them. This really is an initiative from grassroots, from the people, and has no outside corporate interests whatsoever. Only the interests of the people.
Yeah. Fred, you've been very quiet. I want to bring you in here. What do you have to add to what we've talked about so far? Unless you're busy. Okay. Yeah. Fred's busy. He's bagging out a truck. Never mind.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I can walk and chew gum.
Try not to get stuck under a bridge again.
According to Andrew, based off of the San Francisco rally, I'm the greatest trucker of all time. So I should be able to do two things at once.
Yeah. And I also, as you have thought about for many, many times, Fred, the moment the big Andrew Yang 2020 truck is involved in tragically some 18-car truck accident on the highway, it's gonna be a very bad day.
Yeah, it would be a very bad day. So a couple things I wanted to add is, although like she said, we're not taking any donations from any corporate donations. However, if there are wealthy donors that want to give 500, 1,000, 10,000, for specifically the ad campaign in their district or in with no expectation other than us running the ad. That's it. Right?
Yeah.
So we would, we would entertain that idea as well.
Yeah. Is this going to be, you mentioned it a little bit, Sola, but is this are you going to be doing ads for all 4 candidates at first?
Yes, we are.
Oh, and then
we're going to be doing ads for each candidate, yes.
And then you said you're going to be doing another round of specifically like get out the vote ads as well?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are in each of the candidates' districts.
I was going to say, that's a lot of stuff to do, a lot of work getting all that out.
Hey, it's the right year to do a lot of work.
That is true.
I also want to mention, so we are a PAC, which means that we can receive unlimited funds, but we're a grassroots PAC, so corporate interests and is not an avenue that we're willing to entertain. But like Fred mentioned, there's some high dollar donors that have donated to the Yang campaign and or other online initiatives in the past, and would be happy to have their support.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Fred, where is your next stop at after Newark?
My next stop is actually to go to Jacksonville, Florida.
Interesting. What's it? I was gonna ask you, what's it like been trucking during the pandemic?
This is what it's like. Yeah, I'm here to drop off or pick up. Like it's
no changes.
And then also I for many of it that don't know, I've changed my lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I'm less on social media, and plus I don't eat meat anymore. Right?
Wait, you became a vegan or vegetarian?
Yeah, I'm a vegan. So,
dude, when did you make that change?
About 2 months ago.
Oh wow!
But what I do, and it kind of coincides with the pandemic. Is I actually, I actually cook all my food in the truck. 1 second.
Interesting. Sola, what have you been doing past few months besides all this? Like, just how you handling the impact of the virus?
Yeah, well, luckily I've been fortunate enough to be able to work from home for the last 5 years or so. So a remote anyway. So I'm not very location dependent. So I've been just simply doing my client work. I run a digital marketing consultancy in Detroit called BTO Solutions. And we work with some really amazing clients that are very aligned with what we're working on now, which is alleviating human suffering and pain. So, I work with companies that are targeting low income neighborhoods. I work with AI platforms that are holistic, and they're more and they're keeping more in mind with the diversity of talent and thought that's needed in building products that are based on machine learning. And I'm working with some conferences that are futurist conferences. They're now transitioning from the traditional format of in real life to fully digital. So I'm busy myself. I've been working with great clients, and as this progresses and as suffering increases, the silver lining is that the people who are impassioned to create positive solutions also increase as well. So the solutions will increase, and we'll start seeing. In fact, a lot of people are working really hard on. That's why we're here, right? To pass UBI. A lot of people are working on solutions that can kind of right this ship and get us back into the course of our government and our economy, working for people, for us.
Yeah. When you're really unsatisfied with what's going on around you in the world, the only thing you can really do is try to do something about it and change it. So
yes, agreed.
All right, sorry guys, I'm actually back, and we are available now.
Dude, you were talking about your lifestyle changes.
Oh yeah. So it actually does. Like, I cook all my own food in the truck now. I have a Ninja Foodie, and so it works well with the pandemic. You were asking about the pandemic, right? So I cook all my own food. I have a Ninja Foodie, which I make all the food in my truck, and then I have a hot pot where I heat up water, and then so I also have stuff that I mix, dehydrated food with water. So yeah, it's really good for the pandemic because I don't go to restaurants, so I don't risk. Like, I don't want to. Trucking is really dangerous in the pandemic because we all touch the fuel island, and we all have to go. Like, we're out constantly. There's no like stay home and just get on your computer and work from home instead of your cubicle. That's not an option for us. So this is kind of my strategy for the pandemic, is to cut out the meat and dairy, and I have like all these vitamins, these Organifi juices that I take too. And so I have all this stuff that I'm taking to try to fight off the potential of getting COVID. And it's probably like not real, the stuff that I'm doing, but in my head, it's better.
Peace of mind.
Yeah, it gives me peace of mind. Yeah, in my head, I think it's just, what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, they do say that any sort of a dietary changes or anything that has a positive impact on your lungs and on your breathing system is actually going to protect you from. I mean, if you do catch COVID, might help you a bit from experiencing some of the alleviate some of the worst outcomes for it.
Yeah, so that's really really the reason I did it, because I read an article about people who have bad eating habits or like extenuating circumstances, or pre-existing conditions have a higher risk of death. So I was like, well, I don't really have pre-existing conditions, but I just want to try to live in such a manner that if I do catch COVID, I'll be one up, so to speak. So.
Like you can't really do anything about whether you get it or not, but you can control maybe if you end up in the ICU or you're just maybe not feeling well for a few days. I don't know. I guess it depends how you take care of yourself, and sometimes luck.
Also, I was listening to you guys talk. One thing I wanted to talk about is, so what I really like working with Sola, because me and Sola have we have very opposite strategies, right?
Yeah.
Very, very opposite strategies. Like she's a little bit more reserved, and I'm more like a little bit more talkative, right? And then she's extremely strategic and thinks things through, and kind of waits before she acts. And I'm just like, let's just start the car and we'll figure it out on the way there, right? So my thing is massive action, right? With no plan, right? You make your plan as you go, right? So we work really, really good together, because we have like these two things, that all these opposing ideas. So for those of you that don't know, she's done like 70-80% of the heavy lifting for this particular project, because like the first project we did was wrapping. We were going to wrap trucks. So obviously wrapping trucks, and I'm the trucker, it's more, I was more the vocal piece, you know what I mean? But she's I want to, kudos to her, I just publicly, I always like to give credit where credit is due, so to speak, right? Because this initiative would not be happening. We had a conversation about, I started a conversation about DDP for all, and hey, we need to support Andrew and DDP for all and create a video and do this and do that, right? And she redirected the conversation to these candidates, because that's particularly what she does, is strategy, right? So thank you. And if you guys are out there in the Yang Gang and you see her, on Twitter or whatever, throw her some love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when you first told me about this project a few weeks ago, Fred, it just seemed like it came out of nowhere to me, like came out of left field. So yeah. I knew someone had to be behind the scenes doing a lot of the work. And meanwhile, I'm excited to see what more ads you guys come out with, especially because just Treacle makes good ads in general. And I saw like a preview of the one for David Kim as well, but I know now you're going like a different direction. But I still
we're redoing that one.
I still liked it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I also wanted to talk about so we have, and again, this is why I love working with Sola so much, is she's so incredibly focused on now, right? And getting down ballot candidates into office, right? And so incredibly focused on Congress, Senate, and small races in local races, right? Mm-hmm. I'm also, which is good. My initial thinking for having down ballot candidates was, and I still believe this too, and I want people to consider this when they either vote or donate to Truckers for Yang or TFY PAC, is when Donna gets into Texas 31, when David wins his district in California, when Erica wins her district, when Miss Strickland wins her district, when Dr. Johnson wins his district in South Carolina, what that allows for Andrew to do is it's a soft place to land, and you've already got inroads. So you have somebody that's Yang Gang on the inside that says that, you know, that's going to be putting a bug in people's ear saying that these policies and these positions are, I mean, these are the most progressive positions that you're going to find. And bear in mind, I'm not a progressive. I wouldn't call myself a progressive by any stretch of the imagination, right? But these positions that he's taking are good for 95% of everyday Americans, whether it's UBI, whether it's ranked choice voting, whether it's his energy plan. It is essential that we have people from 2020 until 2024 that are constantly drilling down on his 160 position platform.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Fred. And that's something like I think about myself. Like, just besides the fact that these candidates would just be great for their constituents, they would also just be such an asset to the movement and the greater goal of not just bringing those great policies and great candidates to those districts, but bring them to everybody all across the country.
Yeah, and to Sola's idea, and I don't mean to speak for you, Sola, but obviously, focusing on now is super important, because if we don't get it done now, there is no 2024 to have Andrew Yang land somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yep. You don't want to count your chickens or your eggs before they hatch. So.
Yeah.
No. Is there anything else that you guys want to get out about this project before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, it might seem, as you mentioned that you were kind of wondering how this came to be from Truckers for Yang, but really quickly too. So we've done a soft rebranding. Truckers for Yang is now Truckers for UBI. So to underscore our focus on UBI, and you know, even though we're no longer wrapping trucks, truckers still are at the forefront of this automation crisis, and jobs are still going to be automated. That timeline has simply accelerated. It's still coming. So the UBI focus is also for truckers, will also directly impact those workers. So it's the focus is UBI. This is one of many initiatives that we're gonna be launching to support UBI directly. And yes, the truckers are still very much at the forefront of our mind, as are other industries in which we're starting to see a lot of attrition of workers. So,
yeah.
And the reason we're so, we're positive about all four of our candidates, right? But particularly with Donna's district is really, really essential. So there's three main portions of there's Round Rock, Killeen, and what's the other city? I apologize.
Austin?
You mean Bell County?
Bell County. So there's Bell County, Round Rock, Killeen, Temple. So there's Temple, Round Rock, and Killeen. All right, these are the three major hubs in her district, which is North Austin. Now it's a tech hub. It's also Bell County is really, really. It has a high. It's 65%, round about 65% Latino or Hispanic. It's also has a high Asian population.
And fast growing. That's probably their fastest growing demo in Bell County.
Michi asks who's for. It's Kim, Imam, Strickland, and Imam. Strickland and Johnson.
Yes. And as we move forward and continue to raise funds, there is a possibility of adding additional candidates to our focus as well. There are other candidates that do have a good shot at winning too. So we'd like to support as many candidates as possible, UBI candidates as possible, but we're beginning with these 4. Donna's to continue and expand on what Fred was mentioning regarding Donna's and the confidence that we have in her campaign. She is running in Congressional House District, Texas 31, and the quickly evolving demographic of her particular district is incredibly important. She's running against a 17-year incumbent who is stuck in the 20th century. And we need her new ideas, and we're seeing people respond to those ideas. She won her primary runoff against an opponent who had a run for Congress in the same district in the past and won by, I believe, 9 points. Another indication that this race is absolutely winnable is that the incumbent, John Carter, who's been there for 17 years, during his last primary, he lost against I believe it was a new voice, a new face, a Democrat, and he lost by 3%. He won by 3 percentage points. Additionally, it's also important to note that John Carter is a Republican, and this is an opportunity to flip a Texas district blue.
Yeah,
that's why we're incredibly passionate and excited to back her.
Yeah, Donna's a great candidate, and she reminds me of Yang in the sense that she talks more about solutions and less about like stuff that doesn't actually have anything to do with what's going on in people's day-to-day lives. And what was the other thing I was going to say about Donna? Oh, her race is absolutely winnable, like you said, with the 3-point margin in 2018, and like Texas just every single year it seems like a little bit more Democratic leaning. So
yeah,
this could be the year.
It could very well.
And if you guys are on the fence, if anybody's on the fence there too, you can go and hashtag TX31, right? And you're gonna see Donna, and you're also gonna see John Carter, right? John Carter, right?
Yep.
Yes, John Carter.
Okay. Yeah, for some reason I have that in my head as a movie. Was there a movie called John Carter too? There
was a President Carter.
Oh, okay. Well, there was a movie I think called John Carter. It was a flop, actually. So I don't know why I mentioned that. But sorry, I'm backing up again. They told me to go to the wrong door.
It is a 2012 film.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things I did want to mention is you can go and you can just actually see his ads and his messaging, and he speaks like literally this guy talks about the things that people talked about in the 1960s. Yeah, it's that bad. His ads are like him in the back of his yard with a lawn chair. No BS.
Yeah.
And
Donna definitely needs to be the one to fill that seat, and the best way to make it happen is put all of our combined energy into it and support you guys and what you all are doing, and just all the different efforts that are going around the Yang Gang. Don't you guys just love that still here, like 8 months later, there's still so many different people in the Yang Gang doing all sorts of different things all over the place, but it's all still in the name of moving forward?
Yes,
absolutely.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I don't see this really, I'm not to compare or anything, but I don't really see this happening too much with any other candidates base.
Other than maybe Bernie.
Yeah, well,
So what are you talking about?
They've always done that.
Don't crap on my bro, John Delaney. I am a Delaney dog for life.
A Delaney dog?
Yeah.
Hey, bro. I like Delaney's his little box jumps. Dude, box jumps for Congress, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I want a buff president. Obviously, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I'm all over the place because I'm backing up right now.
That you could walk and chew gum at the same time.
I can. It's just dark out here in Newark.
Nah.
What is this box jumping thing about?
He does this thing on social media where you jump up on a high box and then you jump down. It's a workout thing that he does.
Oh,
right. So one of his things that he did when he was running for president was he would do box jumps. I don't know if that was like part of his platform, to have a buff president or something, or a president that, the guy's in good shape.
Hey, we need people in office that are fit, fit mentally, fit physically, and ready to lead. Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, that's one thing that was cool about Obama is Obama would get out the basketball.
Yeah. He was nice too.
Yeah, he was a cool guy, man. Well, even if you didn't agree, sometimes I didn't agree with all of his politics, right? But I would say, as a general person, he's definitely the type of person that you would allow him to babysit your 10-year-old son. You know what I mean? Nobody could say the same thing about Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Agreed. On that part.
No, that's really the.
Yeah, Obama's a really big personality, big charisma, personable,
high level of trust. Super high trust factor.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely one of a kind, but there's definitely also room and space and for new energy that's also personable and ready to change the face of this country.
And we all know who that is, and eventually the rest of the country will wake up as well.
Yeah, fingers and toes crossed. 2024. We're ready to. The soft rebranding of TFUBI was done, so we can very easily switch back to Truckers for Yang. So the Twitter handle is still the same, Truckers for Yang. The Facebook, the custom page URL is still Truckers for Yang. And we still have the website Truckers for Yang that we're currently used everything's currently forwarded to. So really the idea is in 4 years, in 3 years, when he makes his announcement, we're ready to turn everything right back on and get to work.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing your time with us. And we look forward to seeing more of your ads as well as your future projects that come down the pipeline. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for having us, Matt. Enjoy your weekend as well. Thanks. Fred, before we go, can you give us a big Yang Gang outro?
So I just want to say that how do I put this? I've been looking at Twitter, right? And I just want to encourage everybody to Andrew Yang was really nice. So he did a thing on Yang Speaks about the power of being nice. And what I'm seeing sometimes is people on Twitter disagreeing about something, and then they're getting not nice, right? And I can tell you, the Twitter mob and just the mob mentality in general is not going to bring people toward Biden. It's actually going to probably bring people more towards Trump. So if you have to learn to not be emotionally invested and be strategic in the way you tweet and the things you say when you're talking with people that you disagree with. And you can't just mob mentality people on Twitter because you disagree with them. So that would probably be my outro. Is to think about what you're typing, because there's actually a human being on the other end of the keyboard, and that human being has the power of a vote, and your one vote is no more important than theirs. Yeah. So just think about that, gang.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I understand it because we're getting close to the election, and I also feel like people are running back to their tribes, and like we don't have like a big presidential campaign, where we all agree and can unite around. But it's important just remember at the end of the day, we're all still human beings, and we can be nice to each other. So I like the message, Fred.
Humanity first.
Absolutely. Everybody, hope you guys have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.